We begin here. The social media debate centered around economic freedom fighters leader Julius Malema's shoot to kill chant during the party's 10th anniversary celebrations at FNB Stadium in Soweto on Saturday continues unabated. Malema's chants of a shoot to kill and kill the Boer, the farmer, have sparked controversy and legal action by the Democratic Alliance, who have sought charges against him at the United Nations Human Rights Council yesterday. Yesterday, clashes broke out between some senior officials of the economic freedom fighters and a group of white men outside the party's headquarters in Johannesburg. Now, what is the impact of this latest incident on South Africa's social cohesion agenda? Rethabile Ratsomo, anti-racism program manager at the Ahmed Kathadra Foundation, joins us now. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. So, to what extent do you think that, these latest debates, centered around the EFF's insistence on singing the Kill the Farmer, Kill the Boer song will further cause divisions in the country, particularly if you listen to what Malema is saying in terms of the song? He's saying it is not an attack on individuals, but it is an attack on an apartheid system, a system that has harmed a lot of black people in this country.
Hi, thank you once again for having me. I think it's a really important question that we need to explore as South Africans. Like you said, the context in which the song was sung was really during a time where the Afrikaner National Government of South Africa pursued policies that were quite racially segregating to the people of South Africa. And the song was really seen as a form of a political statement that was a unifying call for the end of a government that implemented these kinds of racial policies and segregation policies. But I think because of this, it's really important to understand the context of a post-apartheid South Africa and ask ourselves really whether or not these kinds of actions, such as singing the song, really brings about division or it's a way of creating unity. And whether or not really, such a song is still politically relevant today, especially in South Africa, where we're trying to seek reconciliation and cohesion. So I think really in answering this question about whether or not it continues to create further divisions, we really need to just be guided by, the judiciary as guardians of our constitution and its principles to ensure that, we create a South Africa that is really free from hatred.
It is quite clear that as South Africans, we find it very difficult to address systemic racism post-apartheid. Why do you think that is the case? Is it perhaps because, we really haven't found recourse or sat down really to get to the crux of the matter? It's always been about how do we get to the next phase? How do we work and live together peacefully without having really dealt with the systemic challenges?
Yeah, I think, in some ways we do have to acknowledge that we've been able to take some good strides as the post-apartheid South African government in really ensuring equality. But I think, like you mentioned, the challenges that we face to systemic racism really lie in the remnants of apartheid that we continue to face right now as South Africans. And I think our identity as South Africans still continues to be highly racialized in the sense that a large majority of Black South Africans continue to face, high levels of poverty and inequality despite the advancements in legislation. So I think in some ways we have to acknowledge that apartheid sought to create, a racial and economic hierarchy, and the effects of that still continue today. But I think also because of this, it's been difficult to empower South Africans themselves to be agents of transformation in kind of their own spaces, which in some ways I think means that we haven't acknowledged all the work that we still need to do. And like you said, we do need to delve a bit deeper into what is the actual work that we need to do, what are the conversations we need to be having for us to be able to move forward.
And what role then do you think that, government can still play in strengthening social cohesion? I'm sure they have seen what has been playing out. It's not the first time, but it is the first time that we, of course, continue to, as you say, continue to just be very much I don't want to use the word ignorant, but we don't want to actually understand or seek to understand how really apartheid sought to, in fact, kill the black race. And so it becomes very difficult then for black people, particularly when they hear majority of your white people, come out when this song is sung in particular and then only want to seek some form of social cohesion. Is this not the time then for government to then step in and try and strengthen those relations that are obviously, at a very bad stage at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think, in some ways we do have to acknowledge that we've been able to take some good strides as the post-apartheid South African government in really ensuring equality. And I think our identity as South Africans still continues to be highly racialized in the sense that a large majority of Black South Africans continue to face, high levels of poverty and inequality despite the advancements in legislation. So I think really in answering this question about whether or not, Yeah, I mean, social cohesion as a concept and just the way that we exist in it is really influenced by a variety of factors, not just race. It can range from socioeconomic to political factors. And I think it's important that firstly our government is able to identify those factors and challenges and then decisively take action against the things that bring about division in South Africa. And I think it's important that government uses, our common principles such as the end of poverty or lack of service delivery as a way to unite South Africans under a common cause. And I think that can go a long way in strengthening social cohesion.